Well, got this 284 diesel. Winched it up on the trailer with a chain hoist, so not running, battery's dead. Supposedly been sitting outside for 3 years. Rear left brake's locked up. Kind of tried to push it around and whatnot with a 1066 and skid loader, and about to put a pipe wrench on PTO. It's in gear on the high side, 1000. See if the engine will turn over. I can't grab that pulley and get it over by hand, so supposedly the starter don't work, but I'm not sure if it was, now that I can see it a little better with the camera, could have been shorting right to ground and not actually working. So I guess I'll probably investigate that first. I just got to unhook a truck from the gooseneck. So I did notice before I go farther than that, there was nothing on the stick. We're downhill now. That's what we're dealing with. So I guess I'll be draining out whatever could be in it. So putting a gallon of cheap dollar store, whatever that was, engine oil in it. It don't matter. All right, let's see what we get. Nice. Oh, I guess that's it. Uh-oh. Oh, a little more. Yeah, it ran 3 years ago, huh? Maybe. That's it. Interesting. Guess throw a little bit of clean oil in it and see what flushes out. Well, I went ahead and put a quart of automatic transmission fluid and some 85 140 and a gallon of that motor oil, and went ahead and wiggled the muffler. See that down in the manifold, so I guess I'll go ahead and pull this valve cover off and see what's going on. I want to crank it over and potentially have it suck in more water, so it can't be that bad. Alright, get this last bolt out here. There's only 2, I think. Got the little Walmart work light up here. That's nice. Pretty interesting focus. Pretty interesting. Let's go ahead and pocket that, and this should pop off of here. I don't want to do something I shouldn't. Am I missing something? Probably just stuck on there pretty good. Well, let me wiggle at it. Alright, I get a good slap. Oh, that's not bad at all. That's really nice, actually. Yeah, that's nothing. I think I'll leave it off just to watch it turn over. Have somebody get on the PTO with a pipe wrench. So I think that's the plan. Let's clean up in here. See that gear oil? That's nice. So, uh-oh. No. Yeah, we got a stuck valve. Another one. Right? Yep. Oh. Nice. That means this one's stuck too, isn't it? I can't get the camera there. No, I'm just, no. Somebody probably tried to turn it over and who knows? I don't know. Figure the pistons would push them right back up unless they can't, you know. Should be pretty tight in here, but it's that or broke them. That one over there is a little wonky looking back there, so Huh, no, I just didn't open my eyes good enough. Maybe nothing is stuck up. Guess I'll find out. Alright, key's on. I think I have to push the clutch pedal in and see what happens. Cool, okay. Dims the lights pretty good, so I don't know, power's going somewhere. Well, after getting the brake freed up on the left, drug it around for quite a bit and kept dumping the clutch in fourth gear in the high range and no movement. So let's see, it's not back there now, is it? But we put a, let's see, yeah, it is. Put a PTO up on here and put the 48-inch pipe wrench on it, and I was up front also trying to bar the engine over, so nothing moved. Guess we'll be pulling this oil pan off. Let's go ahead and get this out of here. See what comes out from what I put in. Couple chunks. Let's see what that is. That doesn't look very good. Neither does that. I did crack this loose. Let's see here. Interesting. Moisture. I'm not so sure this filter ever saw oil up inside of it, but it could have all drained back out really clean. But there's just no metal that seems like sent through. That's a little suspect looking, but it doesn't feel gritty. It's pretty slimy. So I guess the next step here is pulling this oil pan off and seeing what's going on up in here. It could just be up at the top end. So, well, here's something to look at. This pan is kind of bulged out. You can see it real good there. Can't quite get the socket on it no more. I got that a couple turns out. That's when I can't get it on, period. Take a wrench to it. Bottom of the pan is the same way. So I wonder if water froze in here. A little more water than I think. Got a little turn out of that maybe. Put a wrench on it. Had to pop this tie rod off here, so get the oil pan down, I hope. Let's put this back on there. Let's see what we get. It's a little crusty looking here. Dipstick tube's kind of in the way. It's kind kind of crusty in there from what I can see. Maybe. Nope, I'm gonna have to mess with this. And this is what we got. Turn around here and look underneath. Here it is. It's a little crusty looking. Well, I think it's time to pull the cylinder head, seeing how nasty the bottom was. So got some stuff to take off of here. Seems like hopefully at least move this out of the way enough and undo our injector lines, return line, and yeah, that can go with it. Glow plugs, just cut the wire for that probably. Run a whole new wire. Assuming this thing's going to be running again, which I think it will. So, alright, I pulled the intake hose off and rocker assemblies out, and let's put this hood over here so it can't fall. Drain the coolant, at least down to there, so I'm not too worried about it. Guess next is injector lines. I'm bolting that and a breather tube back here, or crank breather tube back here, and start undoing some head bolts here and get them push rods out. Check this out. I get these on Amazon pretty cheap. These I got at a place called Applied Technologies, but you can find the same things on Amazon. And then just a collection of random different plugs and whatnot from new stuff. You know, I went ahead and plugged the ports on the injection pump, and I'm not even going to worry about the injectors. Not even worried about the lines, but they're off. So got to get this return off of here and a few other small things, and figure out what I want to do there with this thermostat housing and whatnot. And should be able to pull the head off. Hopefully it'll wiggle out of here with the manifold still on. Guess I'll find out. Alright, I'm just taking these banjo bolts out here. These lines are going to stay put. Just take that hose off there and going to leave the lifting bracket on. Just give me something easier to grab onto and move from there. So I've just been putting all bolts back where they come from, such as banjo bolts and whatnot. Like that one there. Don't want to lose nothing. Well, the cylinder head's off, so this is what we're dealing with. Well, looky there. After a bunch of yanking, hammering, heating, and pulling, got two out so far, but that back one there is stuck up still. You know, I've been wire wheeling and whatnot the walls, so this is how I've been doing it. Just going around the edges, nice and slow. So, just small amounts of heat. This one I believe has already moved a very small amount, but I let it soak overnight with ZEP, you know, just to penetrate more, and I believe it's drained through. It kind of evaporates pretty easy, so it could have evaporated. It was full to about there, you know, halfway, so guess we'll find out. Might be able to hear some sizzling, just the antifreeze in the block boiling out. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be mad about this. Oh, aluminum pistons had a lean torch. Yeah, you can melt aluminum with MAP gas, or even just propane. You know, propane torch. It's moving enough heat away. So be nice if the camera would focus. Plus, I'm not really trying to punch it down through in one certain area just like that. So. Gonna let that soak like that. Gotta go to the parts store and see what happens. Well, I don't think that gear oil is going down much, or yeah, it's gear oil. Maybe a drop or so is leaked past, but guess I'll put the torch in here again and do another heat cycle. You know, here's an example of a, oh, it's so flammable. Not really. And I'm just blowing it out of there now. You gotta get all the oil hot, and then it'll burn. Yeah, here it is. And got the head sitting here. Got to do some work to it. It's a little crusty. Get this light situated correctly. Of course, this light is not on. Let me figure that one out. Okay. Still some moisture and oil. So clean that up, and I'm gonna probably pull these valves out and see how the guides are, and make sure nothing too goofy is going on. Probably just gonna go ahead and lap them. Unless I can find valves for this thing reasonable, I'll put them in. Gonna go ahead and try the starter here and see what happens. That was a PTO. Gonna have to get a pry bar. Let's try again. See if this gets me anywhere. No. The starter might be dead. Might actually be dead. Guess that was one honest thing. I mean, the solenoid was clicking the other day. It's not now, so. This here's what I'm getting. Oops. I mean, I'll show you right to ground. I got plenty of power. Guess that starter just probably burning up, trying to do exactly what I'm trying to do. Oh well. Well, I should have thought about this. If that's holding fluid, it probably wouldn't have rusted that bolt. But anyhow, this is what we're doing. Gonna go ahead and get these valves pulled out. So I'll get these little retainers out of here. Hope I don't lose them. Guess all I gotta do is drop them in the dirt and they're gone. Yeah. Having a hard time keeping contact with one hand, but this here's how I test the glow plugs. Doesn't matter the size of the battery. I'm just using a little lithium iron phosphate battery. This is the only glow plug that's working, so the other ones did not. Just cheap little iron phosphate. They work great, but the overcurrent protection is miserable. These must not draw a whole lot of current, but you know, if this is in a UPS like it's supposed to be or something, you go ahead and turn something on that's got some capacitance, it just trips, and it's only got like a 2-volt signal coming out, and you gotta charge it and then it'll reset itself. It's rather annoying, but that's how it goes. Here we are with the valves cleaned up best I could in the diesel fuel with a little brass brush. This one here is rather interesting, so you can see how it was setting rather good there, but not so much when you come around. Almost none, it appears to be. And then see up here, get the camera to focus on the valve, not anything around it. It's annoying. There we go. It's got score marks on the keepers. Didn't notice that on the other ones. This here is, so it's out of number 3. This here is out of number 3. This exhaust valve, it's a little rough. So, be getting some valves. I don't see nothing noticeable on this. I didn't see anything on the other ones. I'll check again. Nope. But number 1 here, number 1's a little out of whack too, if you look. So, not a big deal. Let's see how many people we can get a little bothered by doing this. It don't bother me one bit. You just don't need to get carried away in one spot. Be gentle with it, and then once you knock the majority of this crap off, you go ahead and just take some sandpaper, real fine, like 600 or more grit sandpaper, and go ahead and clean it up by hand. These little cheap scrapers sure do the job real good. Sure makes it easy. You're not marring it up, and you're not tearing apart your razor blade. And it's kind of hard to gouge anything with it. I mean, you kind of have to really turn it sideways to do any gouging. Sure makes it nice. Been working on them a little bit. Wire wheel it one more time. Got some diesel fuel here and a little brush, just to help get some of that crap out of there. Better than not doing it. Do it a good number of times from the other side too, so. Not too bad. So, if this isn't just so perfect for getting down in there, huh? Ain't that convenient. I don't know what the deal was with this. So, but it's doing the job. Probably mess around down in here with this as well. Why not? That's brass, I think. No, that's steel. That's steel brush. You know, for as nasty as this was, and extremely little effort I put into that, that's really not too hateful. You know, I keep doing that. This is gonna be pretty decent. You know, if I just went ahead and blew air through it and washed it out or whatever here, I wouldn't be worried about it. But I'm gonna go ahead and try and get a little more of this gunk out. Why not? So then maybe the next step is lapping valves. Maybe I'll go back to trying to mess with that piston, getting that number 3 out of there. So we'll see. Well, this is how we're doing. Lapping these valves and seats, grinding these seats down, because I'm not going to use these valves again if the rebuild kit's going to have new valves. So making the seats a little nicer with these, and I'll just take the new valves and maybe see how they look in there, and probably gently grind them down just so they match the seat. But I'm sure this makes some people mad, but this is how I'm doing it. So just light pressure and not running it super hard. Switching the direction of it. So, oh, here's the valve seats. They cleaned up really nice, especially for how bad some of them valves were. So, got worked out pretty well, I think. Just what the valves look like. Probably not reusing them, but at least this a whole lot better up in here. So probably do some more cleaning on these passages and whatnot and see what's next. Figure we go ahead and take a look here at the connecting rods, pistons, and these bearings. They're not too bad. Got some signs of wear, so you can see. Now this one here got crimped from hammering that block of wood up into it. But besides that, there's a little bit of maybe heat, some rougher scuffing right there. And here it is for these pistons. They're a little cruddy still, so rebuild kit comes with new pistons, new wrist pins, new liners, so it's not that I'm going to trash them. I'll save these. The original plan was just get everything freed up and make it run, but as cheap as that rebuild kit I think is, I'm gonna go that route. Already, you know, this far into it. And it was number 1. Here's number 2. So, guess I'll go ahead and disassemble them here. For anybody wondering, they are standard. There's your part number and some other information. Here we go for our wrist pin and our bushing. Just a little rough looking. Can't feel anything with the finger, but definitely does not look the best. So, see if the kit has some bushings and install them. If not, we're running that. And this is on number 2. These rings are not as stuck up as number 1. Number 1's still stuck up other than the first compression ring. But check out in here. This is You see all that crusty water coming down through your oil control ports. Nice rust water rain down in the water pan. Let's take a look at the water pump here. Still turns, so that's really nice. I'm glad to see that. We have some not sure what you want to call this. Check this out. Some goop. So I think I'm just going to run this whole thing through the parts wash. I don't think I'm going to bother disassembling it, so at least the pickup's intact and not too clogged up and it spins. So that's what's important to me. I have to figure out what all these little things are going on. With this little Atsugi, whatever you want to call it, this little oil pump here cleaned up rather well, and go ahead and turn it here like this, counterclockwise, and it started pumping real well, and it was just pumping diesel fuel out of the parts cleaner. So that makes me feel good about this. That's rather nice. Well, I sprayed some penetrating fluid down in there. Makes that spin a whole lot easier. So this is no longer a water pump, it is now an oil pump. Well, after a whole bunch of heating and beating and yanking, tugging, dumping the clutch, I went ahead and just took that, you can see the marks there. I took my that hammer with a bolt welded to it and took another hammer and smacked down on it. It just moved. Been beating on it with wood and everything else and heating it with acetylene torch, and I mean it's cold now, but it would not move. Now it just moved pretty effortlessly. So key is to go up now. Went ahead and pushed it down as far as it's going to go and wire wheeled it up, and I'm going to try and drive it up now. Now there it is. It's done popped out. It's a little stuck, but that last little bit's going pretty quick. I just need a longer piece of wood, 2x2, but got to be shaved down just a little bit to fit up in between the counterweights on the crank. Well, there's 1, 2, and 3. Number 3, that was really stuck. That's the worst looking connecting rod too. So I'm glad that's out. Guess rebuild kit's on the way. I'm gonna go ahead and start pulling liners out, hopefully. I hope. See how that goes. I went ahead and run this thing through there. I'm going to do that to the rest of them. Bottom's a little rough, but shouldn't hurt too much after I hone it. Measure this up, see what we got on the liners, and then if it's a little unacceptable, I think I'm going to have to figure out how to pull these liners. Probably chisel them from the top and cut them. I hope, because the puller, these things are so thin. It's a dry sleeve. These things are so thin, you ain't grabbing nothing, and they don't protrude out the bottom of the casting. So yeah, the camera focus here. These liners ought to be pretty brittle. I'll be able to chisel them out and shatter them and collapse them. I think that's the route we're going. New ones are on the way, so these got to come out. After a whole bunch of playing around, finally got to paste that lip, bust off of there, and gonna jam this screwdriver and probably jam a very small punch down in there and try and chisel this thin liner out. Got to get the whole way down, get the pressure off of it, and it should collapse on in and pull up. Gonna have to probably be pulling the rest of the hood and fuel tank off. Deal with number 3 back here. And I got some progress made. This should reach to the bottom. So if it don't, gonna have to go find a longer sturdy screwdriver. I'd rather not use a chisel, but it is what it is. Got some deburn to do anyhow, no big deal. Happy moment. Here it is. There's a parent bore. Have to do some cleaning up on this side, but no big deal. Have to clean up a little bit up on the deck. Well, kind of hard to see now with water, but got a couple bumps from some gouges. Interesting. And all 3 sleeves come out like that, so got a little bit of damage, but nothing I'm worried about. As long as the liner protrusions where it should be, you know, it should be pretty close to flat with the deck. Have to actually look at spec, but it should be fine. Guess I'll go ahead and take this air compressor and get some of this crap out. Don't need that in there. Go ahead and blow all that out, and spray it down with some WD-40 and wait for the kit to show up. For the battery on this thing, not sure if a previous clip had the sticker, but I think it was December or November, something like that, of 20 or 21. So I had it on this charger I got off of eBay. Pretty, you can tell it's pretty cheesy, but it does work. I think open line on manual mode is putting out like 16.5 volts, and I had it on manual mode here. What was that? It's probably set not quite 24 hours like that. This battery is nice and warm, and I could hear it boiling. So I was getting about 13 something volts on the meter, and here it is on this thing too, load tester. So I guess I'll see what it did. I just pulled it off the charger not but 5 minutes ago. If I can hold everything at once. Well, that'd be nice to have the camera on that. Let's see here. That's not working. It's getting stupid. Okay, got it hooked up there. Let's see what we get. Wow, it's holding pretty good. They will turn red. Shouldn't take them long with this. I hear, yep. I think, or am I seeing things? I can hear it. That's holding pretty steady. That's nice. Yeah, there's red. I see it good now. Uh-oh. Switch got stuck. That's pretty good. That's right after the load test, 12.98 volts. So I'll go ahead and put it on automatic here and charge it back up to whatever it shuts off all on automatic mode, and see how it holds till that engine rebuild kit comes in. That indicator, that don't mean nothing other than it's charging, just like that. When that gets dim, it's pretty close to being charged up, and when it stops blinking, you know, when it's off, it's topped up. But when you put it in manual mode, it will be blinking the entire time, because it will try to saturate that battery up to 16.5 volts or whatever. Might be more that this thing puts out. Let me get the meter. Now, this is on automatic. Put it to manual mode, it should climb a little more, a little quicker. This is on the battery, so that's not bad. It'll continue to climb. Maybe I'll show a clip if I can remember, you know, after it sits here for quite a while. I forgot the meter was down here. It's climbing quick now.